Good morning, all. Welcome to the session. We'll give it a couple of minutes before others join. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. We'll start the session here in a few minutes. We're just waiting for everyone to come in. All right, let's wait one more minute for everyone to come in and we'll get started. Sriram, can you hear me? Do we
I
have
can,
our
I can
do we
hear
have
you.
our in the call?
Not yet. I don't see him. He's coming in.
Okay. Orwa is our special guest, special speaker for today. You'll see. All right. Let's wait for Orwa to come in. He's the security researcher, top 50 worldwide actually. He'll show you a few things about AI and cyber attacks today. Okay, maybe let's get started, Sriram. He's always coming in.
We can start,
Yep.
Stephen, and then hope we're all joined by the time.
Great, perfect. Can you see my screen with that first slide, guys? Yep.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
perfect.
So
All right.
Harsh, he can type the message. Harsh, you can type the message.
All right, perfect. Let's get started. Hello.
So they're asking for Orwa. So yeah, he's joining the call in any moment now. We just call him and then
He joined the call. He joined the call. He's in.
yeah, he's here. He's here.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. He's here. All right, let's get started. Thanks everyone for joining here. I am the marketing manager here at Yogosha. My name is Stefan. You can see here we have multiple presenters, speakers that I will introduce to you. And the subject right now is that we will talk about here is why VAPT is increasingly ineffective, and a look into next-gen offensive security testing. We have a special guest, a special speaker for today. It's Orwa Atiwat, a world-renowned security researcher. So the speakers for today, we have Sriram Yupalapati here. He's a regional sales director from Yogosha. We have as a second speaker here, Orwa Atiyat, top 50 worldwide security researcher. Then we'll have Dharamvir Bisht from RAKBANK, AVP of cybersecurity. And finally, we'll have our specialist in offensive security. That is Shoaib Sheikh. About Yogosha in just a little minute here. Yogosha is an offensive security testing platform. We offer continuous pen testing, on-demand pen testing. We also offer red teaming, VDP, and ad hoc security testing. We have a community of 1,000 plus vetted security researchers. And also on our platform, we allow our organizations clients find serious vulnerabilities in real time within hours and days after they start their pen tests, their security tests. We're also top rated on Gartner. We're ISO 27001 certified. We have more than 300 clients in Europe and the Middle East and Africa, and we have offices in Paris and Dubai. The agenda for today, this is a 45-minute, 1-hour session here. The agenda here, we have 5 points. First point here, very quick, very briefly, the limitations of conventional VAPT approaches. Second point here, we'll expand on this for 15, 20 minutes with Orwa, how AI for cyber attacks is used. Then we'll, with Dharamvir here, we'll discuss about securing biometric data through offensive testing. And with Shoaib, we'll discuss why continuous offensive security is more effective with specifically a platform demo in less than 5 minutes. Then we'll have also a Q&A here. So any questions you ask in the chat, we'll answer them at the end of this session.
Thank you for that, Stephen. Now we'll quickly look at what are the limitations of conventional or traditional VAPT approaches that a lot of customers are facing and feeling. So as the digital world is evolving, the threat vectors are also evolving. We are hearing about AI adoption across all the industries. At the same time, AI is being heavily adopted by the hackers as well as the cybersecurity researchers as well. So the attacks are becoming more and more sophisticated, and then attack surfaces are also rapidly evolving, and then the edge has moved to the homes, to various handheld devices, so on and so forth. So a typical vulnerability scanning or a compliance-based penetration testing has become increasingly ineffective in terms of identifying the real-world attacks or the real-world attacks that can actually compromise the systems, which can cause a lot of damage to the organizations. This is where organizations are seriously exposed. And then we look at, it's like, what is our take in terms of why and how. Let's move to the next slide. So typically, when you look at these automated vulnerability scanners, they're great for continuous scanning, and then it can actually identify vulnerabilities at scale because you'll be able to run scans automatically across a large attack surface or large sets. However, they give you low signal to noise ratio because they typically work on signatures, and then it's like they try to look for specific patterns to identify the vulnerabilities, and a lot of complex vulnerabilities, especially in applications, they're being left out because scanners are not really cognitive enough to identify these complex vulnerabilities or making two vulnerabilities together and then identify a greater exploit. And there is no remediation assistance which is tailor made to the actual vulnerability that has been identified. They'll give you a generic remediation response, and then you try to see how to adapt it to your environment. Coming to traditional penetration testing, it is great for compliance because most of the times than not, it is being happening based on a checklist or some test cases that have been pre-developed based on the threats or the attack vectors that were known. You get high signal to noise ratio. However, it's like the critical or valid or more important findings at the business logic. All these things are missing from this compliance based check. It has point in time because it happens once or twice or thrice in a year, depending on the customer requirement. Most of the times it's a tick box where we check few things and then give a report. So a lot of times they're not, they're focused on the known vulnerabilities. They don't hunt for the real world threat vectors or evolving threats. So there's no sophistication of modern attacks where the real world attackers or hackers can simulate the kind of things that is not happening with the traditional penetration testing. Moving forward to the offensive security approach or a continuous offensive security approach, typically what is happening is some of the niche organizations providing experienced security researchers who can actually simulate the sophisticated cybersecurity attacks, including licensed tools, free tools, as well as the custom tools and fudges that they are creating. So that what is happening is the customers are receiving the real world threat vectors to see how secure or insecure their environment is. And this will really help in finding the most complex vulnerabilities. It can be a privilege escalation, it can be business logic flaw, it can be anything that can actually seriously cripple the end customers. And most of the times these vulnerabilities are submitted in real time so that customer can act quickly before this will be exploited by somebody with a malicious intent and cause a lot of harm to the organization. So it is a proactive approach where it's like we are assessing and submitting the findings in real time, which really help the customers to address their gaps and then be more secure. These assessments will use real-time threat intelligence as one of the vector so that they can actually use it for assessing probably any data that is leaked data that is available, any credentials available in the dark web, or probably new threat vectors that is happening around the globe. Probably it may not be widely published. So all these things are used to assess the customer environment, whereas we'll be able to identify things much ahead of the adversaries. What these kind of assessments will provide is remediation assistance in terms of tailor-made remediation assistance. So any finding is identified in a customer environment, will be able to really provide a tailor-made remediation on how it can be fixed in their environment in an efficient manner. In case there are limitations, what kind of compensatory controls that need to be put in place. This is something that we provide to the customers, and it is done continuously throughout all the year. That means attack vectors are happening all through the year, and this also happens through the year, so that customer receives real time threats and vulnerabilities and the risks to the organization real time, so that they'll be able to act and really support improving their cyber security posture. This way the shift to the continuous offensive security is really helping a lot of customers. Whenever we are having discussions with the customers, they're saying that we don't want it to have the traditional one, rather we wanted to really go with the offensive security approach where you simulate the real world attacks and then give us the findings in real time ahead of the hackers, so that we'll be able to protect our reputation, our availability, and then our integrity of the information and business services. This is where you'll be able to identify the infiltration attempts in real time, also the exfiltration of data, whatever is trying to happening. If there is something that is inside the environment already sitting and trying to do, this is something that will be able to identify. One more use of offensive security continuously is it will also take into consideration the existing controls in place, how they are working in terms of your WAF, in terms of your firewalls, in terms of other solutions that you put in place. We'll take that also into control and see how effective they are. So this way the customers are getting a holistic view in terms of like how their security controls are measures are performing, where the gaps are, prioritized ones, and how they can address it specifically in their environment. That's a brief about it's like how it is really helping. Moving forward,
Thank
now
you.
now the session is about how AI for cyber attacks is used. Mr. Vorwa Godfather, he's an experienced cybersecurity researcher who is going to explain this. Next, give a brief about OVA. So he's a penetration tester, he is a security researcher, he has been a bug hunter. He has submitted 500 plus critical bugs across various industries and highly reputed customers. Overall 1500 plus bugs. He has got a bounty of $1 million plus overall in his experience of working as a bug bounty hunter. He is the Hacker Cup winner in 2022-2023, and he has been awarded Ethical Hacker of the Year 2024 at Besides Ahmedabad, and he has identified and reported 10 plus Jirdo CVs. So he's an influencer. He works closely with a lot of bug hunters, penetration testers across the globe, collaborates, guides. So this way, it's like he has been a torchbearer for offensive security for a long time. So he has been in Hall of Fame in Apple, Meta, NASA, Microsoft, you name it, Google, all the big companies has recognized his efforts, and then he's been there in the Hall of Fame. With this, I'll open the platform to Orva to take you through the journey of the offensive security and bug bounty, or how the modern techniques are being used. Orva, over to you.
Thank you, Shrim, for introducing me, and thank you everyone for this amazing presentation. So, AI, it's a super assistant for security researchers for everyone. But let's say, don't trust AI blindly. Nothing can replace your brain. A lot of the story I hear it, we can say in the last 6 months, it's the AI agent will be soon to able to find vulnerabilities in application, and will have no need to the human hackers anymore, because AI hack bot can find and report all the vulnerabilities. How That's how they tell. Uh, that's present been testing and all of stuff is going to end, but I don't buy it. Now, basically, the company should not put all the trust in the AI agent or bot to protect against hacking. And any pen tester or a employee should not be afraid from AI. It will not take your place. AI is a revolution. It's amazing, fast, but nothing can replace your human brain. As a pen tester, where a human brain and AI can be the traditional pen testing. AI, we can say, especially like ChatGPT and a lot of AI-based scanners, can do? Can read a lot of tons of responses, codes, logs, and hashtag the sensitive data in that logs. Automated scanning, suggest a private data, where you can look, where you can check, and a lot of other stuff. Let's say, like, as a quick examples for tools like AI in Recon, it's help you, like, if you gathering for investing testing, if you gathering a subdomains for a target or company, we can like use AI with a tool. It's called Subwiz. This tool, after gathering the subdomain, you can run that list on this tool. It's generated via AI. It can use the same company name, subnames, and try to generate a new subdomains, unique subdomains. It's via AI. It's will help you a lot. Again, AI help you, like, in like most of I work. I love to work on ASP.NET. There's a vulnerability in ASP.NET. It's called IIS. In that vulnerability, when you start looking for this specific bug, it's via tool called short scan. It's like get a half of word from the target app. Like, if there's a hidden folder, it's called administrator. It will get just admin s without the full name. You can use like a ChatGPT or AI or anything like that to create a word list, complete that word. On the other side, the most important in pen testing is doing fuzzing, is content discovery. Now, the most tool we use it for that, it's called FFUF. But there is as well a tool generated AI. It's called FFUF AI. This tool, it's getting other content from the same web app and try to generate word list from that to content discovery. Next slide. So basically, AI help in find sensitive data, because basically, if you have a huge of response, no need to read that. You can directly just drop that to AI and start filtering everything you want. On the other side, in mobile testing, there's a tool generated via AI. You can load the full application of mobile to that tool and read all the responses, JavaScript files, all this stuff, and find sensitive data. I think the tool, it's called Debobfuscate Android app. Even we know there's a ChatGPT, but if you are doing testing for a cloud, there's a cloud GPT. And this tool, Cloud GPT, it's help you in a cloud pen testing. So basically, we can say a lot of tools can be used for AI assessment. It's a subway to find more subdomains. If you have AI, there is a Presido, find all secrets, a Cloud GPT, and there is as well Barb GPT. It can be used in Barb. So AI make me faster, make me smarter. I'm not a coder, as an example. I was working on in VirusTotal. VirusTotal, most of company use it for scanning for viruses, but I found that I can found all the most of archive endpoints in VirusTotal itself. It's amazing for recon, but when I tried to generate a tool for that to extract the endpoints, it was not an option because there is a lot of limitation and all of this stuff. As I said, I'm not a coder. I just put the inputs in the chat GPT and I like ask it to create a tool, handling with this tool and keep shifting between this API to other API. And yes, I made this tool and it was more than amazing for recon. Now, where the human can beat AI, because as I said in the first thing, don't trust AI blindly. I'm going to share a real examples to a critical vulnerability as I found where a human brain can beat AI because these bugs can't be found via AI. That's proving that human researchers, hackers, pen testers, it will still and it will remain the most important. Let's start with the first thing, it's business logic flow. We can say like 6 months ago, I was able to find a redeem code. All of us, we know the redeem code in a JSON file. By applying that redeem code, it was available with like $10 of balance. It's okay, it's a bug, but that's AI can found it. But what I did, I tried the same redeem code with again another request, and it was like a lifetime redeem code. For each press, it's keep adding $10 to the balance without stopping. So with that, I submit that report, and it was a critical one. I get a critical reward for that. AI or any scanner missed that. Why it's failed? Because no training on this specific app logic. We can say on other example, it's a file upload bugs. The most interesting place for any pen tester, it's the file upload. Now, basically, normal scanner can deactivate the file upload, can test it for like storage access as maybe shell upload, but there's another bug can be tested in file upload, such as denial of service DOS, SQL injection, SSRF. That's in the file upload itself, like add the malicious code for SQL injection or SSRF in a file and upload it. Now, when you test this kind of bugs, you have to send more than one request to get the valid bug. And with a payload, it's let the server delete. Now, AI and the other tools, scanner tools can miss that. Why? Because it's need a timing and in the same time, more than one request, and mostly the response look normal without any change or any issue. The other bug, it's response manipulation. Response manipulation, it's this bug. I found a lot of bugs in a lot of company, very big company, via response manipulation. That can't be done by AI. Response manipulation, when you send a request for the server to validate the credentials or anything, it's back with a response. This response, you can make some change in that response, and it can lead for chain of huge bugs. From that examples, it's authentication bypass or account takeover. Like when you send a request for login, including username and password, wrong username and password to the server, it's back with a response from the server that's it's not validated, like 401 not authorized yet, and success maybe it's equal false. So it changed 401 to 200. It changed success equal false to true, and then submit the request, and it will made other request mostly, and it can be done with the access token. A lot of stuff like that by changing the request response header, sorry, or response body, like it's a beverage escalation. If you like login, if a normal user, we can see in the response, maybe it back will is an admin, it's equal false. You can change it for true. Now you have a beverage escalation like an admin, or change admin from 0 to 1 equal. In the same time, we can say, like as other example, response manipulation, it's IDOR and logic bags like currency. If I want like to get this stuff, it's worth 100 euro. Then in the response, I just change the euro signs for, as example, Indian rupee signs. Now it's cost 100 rupee, I think maybe 1 or 2 euro, and that's a serious bug. Now on the other side, other bug, access to BII, contract, bank checks in the image extension. Now, when you automate endpoints for a target and then send it to AI or in a scanner, it can be read if there is anything sensitive, but if that a file like PDF, like JSON, like all of this stuff. But image extensions such as JPG, PNG, all of this stuff, it can't be read via scanners. You have to check it manually. Mostly in companies like organization, government, banks, it can be have a BII, a critical BII, or contract, or bank check, all of this stuff. Okay, now let's talk where is as I can see the human brain. And the other side, it's a real-time life examples. I keep till this day use it. It's Wi-Fi bypass, and here I'm going to share Wi-Fi attack simulation in 3 parts. First one, vhost. It's access to dead and internal apps via connecting a live hostess with a live IP. And the other example is fully bypass the WAF via connection a WAF host with the origin IP. And the third thing, it's WAF evasion via request manipulation itself. That can be lead for chain of bugs. It's itself bypassing the WAF or access for a dead host, it's bug, but can lead for a lot of other bugs, such as unauthorized access to internal apps, authentication bypass, server-side vulnerabilities, and bypass WAF on all cases. Maybe I got more than 200 of bounties using this technique. Let's start with the first example. It's vhost. Here, as we can see, normally visiting for this IP, and the response, as you can see, we have a lot of subdomains. Starting with the first one, it's called demo.company.com. There's another subdomain. It's called IHUAT, and a lot of domains. Now, let's go. Let's go to the other slide to see in the bar how it looks when we visit this IP. When we visit this IP, we can see on the screen there is a target, and it's have the IP, and we have the host header, and it have the same IP. Now the normal response, it's 400 bad request, nothing here. What I did, I get all the company subdomains, then I send it to intruder. Now let's see in the other slide how it looks. And add it in the all the company subdomains, and we can see it's a very huge number. Now, I hashtag it in intruder that I want to test all of these subdomains in the host header, but I want to keep the target on the same URL. It's me connect the subdomains in the host header on the IP of the vhost. Now let's see the example how the result looks in the next slide. Yeah. So basically, as you can see from a huge of subdomains, we can see the number of requests. It's I loaded here more than 35 subdomains. Okay. Now we have a subdomains. The stated code for that subdomains is 200. Two other subdomains it's 401, and three other subdomains the response is 403. It can be like running a tool to content discovery and fuzzing on that subdomains. But basically, the subdomains it have a state code 200 or 401. When you try to normally visit that subdomains or that app, it will not be open. It looks like it's down. But connecting that subdomains with the vhost IP, it's back with a good result. No one can see that. And in the most of cases, most of cases, it's bypassed WAF. I shared here like a quick tip when we use FFUF to do that, like loading a huge list of IPs and a huge list of subdomains and doing that with each other to see the vhost and access. Let's go to the other slide now to see other example. Now, here an example for a web application, it have a WAF. When you try to send any payload, the WAF will it back with a response it 429. It's too many requests. As we can see in the target up the screen, we have the domain, it's app.company.com, and in the host header, the same thing, it's the app.company.com. And I added in the username the SQL injection payload. And the WAF, it's catch me. Now let's see the other slide. All what I did, I found the original IP on VirusTotal. And then, as we can see in the target of the screen, it starts with 52 dot. And I keep the host header like that, and the same payload for SQL injection, and it's back with a response 401 unauthorized. It's mean I bypassed the WAF. So here I can continue testing without a WAF, and it's not about response. We can find a SQL injection with a response 500 or 401. It's normal. So this is a simulation for WAF bypass. Now let's see other simulation for WAF evasion in the other slide. Here it's a real example for WAF Akamai. Most of us, we know Akamai. So here what I did, I just made a normal request for the server, including a cross-site scripting payload. Directly when I submit this request, the WAF is catch me. As you can see, as 403 forbidden. Let's see it in the other slide. I just made a request manipulation and I bypassed that. How I did that? I loaded a very huge content in the request itself, including a parameter equal value, but a huge one. As we can see in the request, it's the same request. I just loaded a huge content of request. Why? Because most of WAFs, when you submit a request like that, it's directly start checking the first parameters and the values, then skip everything after that. So if I put the access as payload in the first, it's will blocked, but I put in the last of request, directly the WAF skip that and I bypassed the WAF. So here, as I said, that now all of these bugs, we can say, and there's a lot like all the IDORs, authentication bypass, most of these bugs can't be found via AI. So don't trust scanners and traditional pen test, and don't only use it to find bugs because you will miss a lot of critical bugs. Leverage AI for super assessment. Most of people asking me, should I doing pen testing and security researching manually or using automated tools? I all the time keep saying, do the both, doing the manually and doing the automation. Use your mind, use AI, you will get a perfect success. Now, I'm done here. I want to thank you all. Now, let's go to the other slide, and we're back with Stephen.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much. That was super clear. I think a lot of people here appreciate all of your examples. For this part here, we have Dharamvir securing biometric data through offensive testing. Dharamvir, as a reminder, is an industry veteran, and he'll give you his perspective in that area.
Dharamvir, over to you. You're on mute.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Today, I'll be talking about biometric authentication and the adoption. And I'll not take much time. I'll just cover this in the next 10 minutes. So today, if you see biometric authentication, the popularity is growing. You can see biometric authentication every second now, whether it's fintech, it's a banking app, healthcare app, or any authentication app which is required user and password credential, you can replace biometric with that. And if you see the device integration, every device nowadays comes with the biometric sensor, whether it's a fingerprint or it's a facial, or if it is advanced, it's a retina. So they have some biometric mechanism which you can use for the authentication. And user acceptance, if you see the people nowadays, they are preferring to use biometric authentication rather than inserting your username and password every time, because we have multiple accounts in multiple apps and we can't remember our credential every time. So it would be good if we have something like biometric where we can just authenticate once and then next time we can use biometric authentication rather giving a user and password every time. Security advantage, yeah, biometric offers a strong identity verification than traditional method. It means we don't have to pass credential every time whenever we are logging, because we know user credential is the weakest link in our ecosystem, because most of the hackers, they try to attack and gain your credential through phishing, wishing. There are a lot of ways to get your credentials. So it is nicer if we don't have to pass user credential every time when we are logging into some application. And if we can replace with the biometric, it would be great. We don't have to pass it once we have authenticated. And developer support. So widely all platforms, whether it's iOS and Android, they provide the APIs where you can actually integrate their APIs, their native features to your any apps. It's mobile banking apps or healthcare apps or fintechs, or maybe it's a e-commerce app. So you can use their existing native feature to integrate with your credentials, and for the next time you can use biometric. So can you just can we move to next slide? We know biometric authentication is powerful, but it's not foolproof. Our faces, voices, fingerprints, they are identifiers, but not secrets. And always remember, we can reset our password, but we can't reset our faces or fingerprints. So if the biometric authentication is not implemented properly, it could poses a huge risk in your application. So we will be discussing about the insecure way of implementing biometric authentication. So if you see, you guys must be using biometric authentication in multiple apps. How it works beyond the app that I will explain you. Once you log in into your application, so what it does, if you register for the biometric authentication, the first time when you put your username and password, your application sends your credential to the server. Once server verifies and authenticate you, then what it does, it just uses the AES key and encrypt your password and keep it in your local device. Okay, so that credentials is in encrypted form, but it is storing in your local device in your mobile app. So next time when you try to log in, so what it does, your biometric authentication is okay. So what it does, again, your application fetches the AES key and decrypt the password and then send that password to your servers. and that's how it allows you to authenticate next time, and you don't have to put your user and password every time because your password is already there in your local device in encrypted form. But if you see, there are some security concerns with this approach. The security concern is, first, we are storing user credential in local app. If your device is stolen, if your device compromised through some bugs or through some malware, then your password can be stolen. And the next thing is, as we know, we are using the encryption key. So whenever you're trying to log in next time, so what it does, it just fetches your AES key and decrypt the password and send that your username and password in clear text. Maybe your application is using HTTPS, but in the end, in the data level protection, it is going in a clear text. And the third is there is no expiry date, or password rotation is not there. So these are the security concerns, and we know. And if we know if these are the security concerns can be exploited, hackers like Orwa and other, there's so many, they do their research R&D throughout the year, and they know this kind of security concerns because they deeply, do their R&D. So how real-time hackers or offensive security assessor they can exploit, and what are the tools they are going to use to exploit this insecure approach? So what they can do, they can use any tool like MoveSF or Bubsuit. And MoveSF, what it does, actually it gives you the basic vulnerabilities. It can do even your analysis of your code also. So, or you can use APK tool for analysis your Java code. And when you do the analysis, so there you can see, since we know we are using AES key, AES is an encrypted key. Is encryption key is a symmetric encryption key. So we use one single key to encrypt and decrypt the data. So as a hacker, what we can do, we will try to look at the AES key, which is hard coded in our source code, because we know if they are using the encryption, there might be some key, and if it is the AES, it would be a single key. So we can look at the AES key in the source code, and if we found it, then we can use the same key to decrypt the user credential, which is storing in the encrypted form. And the next approach would be, we can always do deep dive into our mobile app testing. So what we do normally, whenever we test any application, we do in 3 level. One is app level, one is the source code level, and another one is the device level. So in device level, we can always try to look at where the credentials are getting stored. And once we find, okay, this is the location where the credentials are getting stored in encrypted form, what we can do, we can use the same encryption key which we have found it in source code, and we can use the same key to decrypt the password, and we can get the credential in the clear text, and then we can misuse these credentials. And if you see, this is how easily we can do it if we implement insecure way of authentication method. Can we just move to the next slide, please? Can you just, yeah. So what is the secure way? So how we can secure biometric authentications? So what we can do to securing the biometric authentication, instead of using symmetric key, we can use asymmetric key. And when we use the asymmetric key, what we can do, whenever we generate the asymmetric key, we can keep one key in user's device, that is the private key, and one key we can store in the server. So what happens? So whenever user tries to log in for the next second time, so what will happen once the biometric, the native features in it allows you to log in. Native, when I'm talking about the facial authentication of your iPhone or Android. So after that, what will happen? Server will send one challenge with the public key, and since your local device is having the private key, that will resolve that challenge. And once the challenge is resolved, with the private key, application will allow you to log in. So in this approach, what is happening? So we are not storing any credentials in local device, and and we have a mechanism where we are challenging the token every time, and we are not using any single key. I mean AES key symmetric key, where we are using single key for encryption and decryption. So we are just avoiding all this the basic security concern if we use this secure biometric approach. So what we can do, so as you know, biometric is powerful, but it's not foolproof, as I told you. So, and we know the threat landscape is changing due to the geopolitical instability. There are a lot of, in Middle East, there are a lot of wars are going on, and because of that, hackers are proactively, finding and trying to attack all fintech companies, all banking companies, all healthcares, and try to get some, ransomware from them. So what do we have to do? We just can't rely on the traditional VAPT approach. So, and we have to adopt the offensive security where we can monitor and we can test our application throughout the year. Not everything, but yes, are the critical assets which are the exposed to the internet. And if we do it, because we know threat landscape is changing every day, we see a lot of new bugs, new 0 days. And if we just rely on the VAPT, and then we have to wait for the one cycle. But if we adopt offensive security where somebody is testing our website or somebody is just looking after our digital assets throughout the year and reporting us whenever some new bugs comes and they can simulate, then it gives us the some way to comfort, somebody is looking after our assets. I think I'm done here.
Thank you.
Sriram?
Thank you, Dharam. Thanks for sharing your valuable insights. And a key area is like how biometric credentials are secured. And then your insights are really valuable. Thank you. Thanks for that. So now we will move on to the next session where our pre-sales director, Mr. Shoaib, will take you through our platform and give you insights on why continuous offensive security is more effective compared to the traditional methods. Please go on. Yes, Orva. Yes, Orva, you want to say something?
No, just I was testing the feature he's.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Shriram. Thank you, Orva, for an amazing session. Thank you, Dharamvir, for the amazing session. Thanks, Stephen. Okay, so let me share my screen.
Yeah, sure. We
All
can
right.
see your screen.
Oh, just, yeah. All right. So why traditional method is not effective? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah.
you. Go
You
on.
can hear, right? All right. So why the traditional method is not effective in today's world, and why there is a need for the continuous offensive security assessment. So the best part, the best USP to in having this continuous security assessment is that is something like 24/7 365 days of testing. That means you don't have to wait on or something like a once a year assessment or something. No, it will be something which will be done 24/7 and 365 days. And with Yogosha, we have around like 1,000+ vetted international world-class security researcher who are able and who are capable. They are very highly skillful and they were highly qualified as well. Why I'm saying skillful, because right now you can see the Orwa, what kind of capabilities he has. That kind of capable person, skillful person, master, world class person or security researcher we have working with Yogosha. Secondly, they are highly qualified as well. They are the best certification in the market with regards to the offensive security assessment. It's there with us in Yogosha. Like you ask any certificate like OSCE, OSWE, SAN certified, any kind of offensive security certified security researcher we have with us. Secondly, when you go with the continuous security assessment, it helps you to get the real-time threats visibility. It's like you don't have to wait for a yearly uh, you don't have to wait for a yearly assessment. It's like you will get a continuously 365 days assessment where we deploy around like 25 to 30 security researchers every month. That is also on a rotation basis. Okay, next I'll show you what about this platform is the Yogosha offensive security testing platform. These platforms comes with the unlimited user roles, so you can create unlimited user accounts on a single platform. This platform we call it as a VOC, which is the Vulnerability Operation Center, which helps in centralization of all your programs, vulnerabilities, and reports in a real time. So what you will get, it's like we have eliminated things like, for an example, as a pen tester, we normally used to do the daily reporting to the customer, preparing the report in Excel and Word reports, and then we are going to prepare a executive summary report for or a management summary report for a client. So these things we have eliminated, which still been used in the traditional pen testing. This you can consider it, and you can do it in a offensive using a Yogosha offensive security testing platform. Here you will see the analytics of the accepted report. You will see the rejected report. You will see the dashboard, like how many operation types you have enrolled for. You can have a complete visibility of our security researchers, like how many security researchers are engaged in your program and how many times they are spending for a particular engagement. Then you can have a complete visibility of the remediation here. Like for an example, once a report is accepted by the triage person of Yogosha, okay, so then after that you will get a complete dashboard. You don't have to follow up with any kind of Excel or CSV for the follow-up of the remediation with your internal team or the developer team. You can log into this particular platform and you can see the vulnerabilities to be fixed, how many criticals to be fixed, how many high to be fixed, how many mediums. You can see the you can see the double check follow up, like how many pending check, how many double check is successful, how many double check is not successful. You can see by asset wise how many assets are yet to be fixed by the client's perspective. We can discover a asset discovery for you, and then you can decide like what are the rogue IT and shadow IT assets for your shadow IT asset which doesn't belongs to your organization. You can have a complete data. You can download the reports into a CSV as well as into a PDF format. You can we can have we have a operations here, like for example we do pen test as a service. We have a private bug bounty program for you. We have a vulnerability disclosure program. Our security researcher are able to perform the mimic these sophisticated attacks such as like account takeover, NAC bypass. We avoid vulnerabilities such as like clickjacking, version disclosure, or user enumeration type of vulnerabilities. We can do a security assessment, security checklist assessment. We already have a checklist prepared in our platform. If currently it's a trend of AI based LLM solution, yes, our security researchers are capable in performing the LLM security testing such as like prompt injection, deepfake attacks, or the text manipulation text attacks, or the text manipulation attack APIs. All type that kind of checklist can be followed by our security researcher for the continuous testing. I have already shared the details. We can do all type of operations for you, like live hacking event, asset discovery. We have a special team for the red team as a service. We can do the threat intelligence for you, social engineering, digital forensic, something which is not mentioned here. We can do that all that as well, like secure network architecture review, ATM security assessment, POS security assessment, yes, so like REST API, SOAP API, source code review, anything which is related with an IP address or a technology. We can do the satellite security assessment, and anything which is related with the networks. We can conduct a security comprehensive, a sophisticated, we can attack on that particular technology. Next, I'll just give you a brief about the how the vulnerabilities will be look like. I'll just open a report. You have a chance to see the vulnerability. We have a watcher here where you can get the notification of the identified vulnerability, fix validated, fix not validated, reports received, reports comments. You can see all the vulnerabilities on a platform, like who submitted this bug and what are the name of the vulnerability. Here you can see the description, tool use, proof of concept, screenshots. You can request a video. Remy, you can directly chat with the security researcher, and you can have a retest through the platform. You don't have to mail for that. You can integrate this platform with the Jira, Cloud, Slack services so that you can directly pull out the reports from this particular platform. All the reports are available. You can download it more in detail. We can do the you can have the we can have the this thing continuous security assessment by using this platform. So this is just a very short like high level demo for you. If you need more comprehensive or brief demonstration of this platform and what are the service offerings by the Yogosha, please book a session for at least like 30 to 35 minutes where we can understand your requirement. We can get the details of the sizing, and we can discuss about the service offering of Yogosha, and as well as we can also discuss about this platform and its benefits. So that's it from my side.
Thank you, Shoaib. Appreciate a quick whirlwind view of our platform and the services that we do, and then call to action as well. You can always reach out to us. We'll share the recording of the presentation with all of you, and then probably we'll share an ID where you can reach out to us if you have any requirements. We're more than happy to assist you. Having said that, now is the time to answer the question and answers. So probably I saw a couple of questions asked by some of the people. So a lot of things to Mr. Orwa. So a lot of people wanted to know how do they find the programs to work on, looking at this KCT and a lot of people working on that. Second thing is they wanted to know what kind of tools you use in your day-to-day bounty hunts, Orwa. There's a couple of questions that as of now we have.
Okay, so thank you everyone. About the program, how to find like a program, we can say it's a huge challenge. A lot of platforms, a lot of programs, big programs. For me, I prefer like in programs when I do like security research normally. For me, I prefer all the time the very huge scope of a program. Like when company mentioned that anything on it by them, it should be in a scope and for testing. How I can handle it with that, it's by recon. Recon, it's not just like gathering subdomains, scan, check the endpoints, all of this stuff. Recon, we can say it's I give a score for like in pen testing and in security research and all of this stuff. I give a score for that. We can say it's 80% it's recon, and or let's say it's 70% it's recon, 15% it's writing an excellent report, and 15% is the exploit of the report. So the most important thing, it's recon. Recon, it's not just like gathering subdomains, it's subdomains, it's scanning port every day, because a lot of servers get open port, closed port from hour to hour, from minute to minute. So basically, most of tips I can share, like I use it, darling, my working, it's 5-icon recon. I shared that before a lot in slides and in talk about 5-icon. About the tools I used, there is a lot of tools, but we can say the top basic tools. It's in the start, it's building your system or your setup for pen testing. So on my side, I prefer to use Windows with Kali in the same time. The top software I use it in Windows itself, Barb Suite. All of us know Barb Suite. Not Plus Plus, Visual Studio Code for code review, JetBrains.peak, it's for analyze the DLL files and DXE files. Swap UI, when I test swap application, we can say what other tools. Now this is a softwares I keep use. We can say browser extension. It's so important. It's Mobilizer to see technologies. Edit this cookie. It's helpful for authentication bypass and cookie manipulate. It's extensions. There is a .git extension. It's to find a get repos in the web app. All the time I keeping ChatGPT and DeepSeek AI extension. There's the extension is called find something. It's read all the JavaScript file and then back for you directly from visiting the web app with sensitive data. Barbie Suite, as I said, but with specific extensions such as for O3 bypasser, active scan. There's a lot of extensions. It's for each bug testing. And the Kali itself, like tool I use it, we can say it's Recon FTW. It's covering a lot of tools. EMA Subfinder, one for all. It's for gathering subdomains. HTTPX for filtering the live. NABU and MASCAN for scanning port. I use FFUF and FFUF AI for content discovery. I use way more for gathering endpoint. I use my script VirusTotal to gathering a unique endpoints. Shodan CLI to extract IPs from Shodan for the target. Git tools to extract Git repo. About specific bugs and specific technologies such as EAM, I use EAM hackers and word list for EAM. SQL map for sure for testing SQL injection. And for sure, a specific word list for me. This is my recommended for everyone doing pen testing and security research, bug bounty, all of this stuff. Keep updating your word list. If you're working on a company, we can say Yogosha, create a specific word list for Yogosha, including Yogosha subdomains, Yogosha domains, Yogosha endpoints. Keep this word list for you.
That's an amazing answer, Arwa. Thanks a lot. I think we're on the top of the time. If there are any questions, feel free to drop it. Otherwise, we'll conclude the session in the next 1 minute. Thank you all once again for joining the session and making it really interactive. And we would like to tell you that we will share this recording of the session after the session is complete. So I see one question asking currently Yogosha Strike Force joining is paused. I think we're making some changes in the program. That is where the program is paused. It will be renewed very soon and you'll be able to apply for it and come on board as researchers. I hope that answers your question. We will share the recording of this session probably in a day's time and you will have access to this session. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to all our panel members.
Thank you so
Ova.
much.
Thank you, Shoaib. And we look forward to closely work with you and see it's like how we can take this forward. Thanks again. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Bye bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Take care. Have a nice day.